In the top stories, Prime Minister Drew urges the public to work with security forces as they collaborate on ongoing projects. 16-year-old in Guyana charged with murder, and oil giant Shell accused of pollution in the Niger Delta. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Wednesday, the 5th of April 2023. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, the High Command of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force and the St. Kitts and Nevis Defence Force are collaborating to ensure that citizens feel safe and secure. This was according to the Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew, during Tuesday's sitting of Parliament when he updated the general public on matters arising out of a meeting with members of the High Command.
Together, they are collaborating even closer to make more resources available in terms of manpower and national security. Our ministry will not allow any resource to be withheld that is necessary to deal with the situation at hand. He assured that his operation, called Operation Assurance, is quickly being implemented to deal with the situation.
Prime Minister Drew appealed to the general public to work closely with the security forces.
I want to ask the public and all of our citizens to support the security forces, support the police, support the defense force as they implement their plan to deal with the issues of national security. But I also want to say to those who are involved in criminal activities that crime does not pay in the long run. There are opportunities that we want our young men to take advantage of.
Dr. Drew noted that the government continues to promote gender equity and diversity.
As we speak about gender equity and diversity, we are bringing on a consultant in our government, and that consultant will look specifically at men and boys. What are the specific issues that we need to study more, understand more, to implement sustainable, long-term programs to ensure that we keep our men and boys on the right track. This is a serious approach that we are going to take. We have communicated with regional partners and those who we have to discuss with to make sure that we leave no stone unturned in dealing with this.
Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, the Honourable Dr. Terence Drew. An official from the Ministry of Agriculture on Nevis is describing the meeting between a two-member team from the ministry and a visiting delegation from St. Eustatius as fruitful. Hughie Sargent, the ministry's permanent secretary, who accompanied the Honourable Eric Evelyn, Minister of Agriculture, at the meeting on March 30, made the comment while updating the Department of Information on the outcome on Tuesday. He said, quote, "The meeting went very well. We discussed matters that tied our islands historically and along familial relations. There is an ongoing relationship between the Departments of Agriculture where some trade happens. There was an interest in further strengthening that relationship to the extent that a memorandum of understanding was proposed," end quote. Meanwhile, Anthony Reid, Director of Economy, Nature and Infrastructure in St. Eustatius, said they, quote, "intend to send a letter of intent to the Ministry of Agriculture to sign an MOU within the short future, and we have some special topics that we would like to collaborate on with Nevis," end quote. The delegation was headed by Commissioner with the Portfolio for Agriculture and Fisheries, Derek Simmons. The Basel Convention Regional Center Caribbean is inviting creatives in St. Kitts and Nevis and across the Caribbean to participate in a photography competition. Launched on April 3, the Inspire Islands Photography Competition aligns with the 50th World Environment Day celebrations on June 5, where solutions to beat plastic pollution will be spotlighted. The Inspire Islands Photography Competition is guided by the theme, "The Tide Has to Turn on Plastic Waste." The entry categories are 12 to 17 years amateur, 18 plus amateur, and professional. Each group will be judged separately based on the judging criteria, which indicated that each submission should be clearly aligned with the theme. Each submission should include a 25 to 40 word caption, which would include location, and a 150 word impact statement. Photographs will be judged on creativity, originality, perspective, use of space and lighting, interpretation, clarity, and applicability of theme, as well as overall impression of the photograph. The submission form and more information can be accessed at www.bcrc-caribbean.org. The deadline for submission is June 5 at 11:59 p.m. Moving now to news on the regional scene. In Guyana, after discovering a 21-year-old freelance miner with severe facial injuries, a 16-year-old was arrested and charged with murder. The teenager has been remanded to the Juvenile Holding Center. Tiana